What is going on, everybody? It is Luke Beller, and today what I want to do is sort of take a look at different free agent cornerbacks the Packers could potentially come in and sign this offseason. You know, we have Jaire Alexander as our number one, but I think we need to bring in another guy to pair alongside Jaire Alexander. So if we don't go with that in the draft, these are 5 different guys who the Packers could potentially come in and sign. So we'll sort of break down their recent performance history as well as, you know, what their contracts could potentially be worth coming into the 2021 season. But if you guys are new to the channel, I put up Packers news, Packers analysis breakdowns like 5 to 6, 7, sort of depends, times a week. So if you want to see that, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel down below. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Just want to say thank you guys. I appreciate all you guys who have been subscribing, liking, commenting. Really appreciate all the support you guys have shown the channel recently. So first off, I want to take a look at these Packers cornerbacks. I have a little chart here that sort of breaks down how they performed in the 2020 season. We all know Jaire Alexander is a beast. As you can see, his passer rating allowed was 68.3, 9th in the NFL, and PFF graded him as the number 1 cornerback in the NFL. And then we have a guy who most people don't want to see back in 2021, and that is Kevin King. He allowed 105.8 passer rating in 2020, which was 80th in the NFL, and he was graded as the 99th cornerback by PFF. So Kevin King definitely struggled in 2020, and so taking a look at these free agents, these are guys who I think could come in and replace Kevin King. Because taking a look at Chandon Sullivan, he hasn't been like amazing, but he's been, I guess you could sort of say average, a 92 passer rating allowed, 48th in the NFL, and he was graded as the 66th best corner according to PFF. And then we have Josh Jackson, not amazing, 96.6. He wasn't even sort of available for the passer rating ranks. I guess he didn't play enough snaps. And then rated 94th by PFF. So I think the Packers could potentially keep Chandon Sullivan there as, you know, that slot corner. But maybe we could bring in another guy to come fill in for Kevin King on the outside. And, you know, of course, the Packers could come in the first couple rounds and draft a cornerback. Maybe that's what they want to do. If they want to address the cornerback position, that could be, I guess, a potential option. But as always, there are many different options to build a team. So these are just sort of free agents that the Packers could come in and sign if they wanted to sort of build the cornerback position in free agency. So the first guy I want to cover is Xavier Rhodes, who spent 2020 with the Colts. And he actually had a great 2020 season. After 2018 and 2019, he just had pretty bad seasons with the Minnesota Vikings. In 2018, he was ranked 100th by PFF for cornerbacks and 109th in 2019 for cornerbacks. So I'm guessing Colts fans weren't excited when they brought in Xavier Rhodes just because of how poorly he had been playing. But then he comes in 2020 and was ranked as the 9th best cornerback in the NFL. So he definitely came in and took a massive step forward and sort of revamped his career there with the Colts. And so now with him being a free agent, he's potentially a guy the Packers could come in and sign. And so he only cost the Colts like $3 million in 2020 just because of, you know, he hadn't been playing well. And so they're like, we're not going to give you that much money. We'll give you a little bit of money and sort of see what you can do. And he definitely outperformed that contract. So now coming into 2021, he's definitely going to be paid more money than $3 million, and PFF predicts he'll make about like $8 million a year. So can the Packers pay him that much? Who really knows? We don't really know what's going to happen with the salary cap. We don't know who the Packers will cut or who they'll bring in. We just don't know the situation. So he could potentially make $8 million a year. Maybe the Packers can pay that. Maybe they can't. All right, so now breaking down the number 2 guy I have here. And I honestly like this guy a lot, and I think he could be a great fit here in Green Bay just because, I mean, you'll see why. That is Richard Sherman. We all know Richard Sherman. He has been a beast, especially with his time there with the Legion of Boom back in Seattle. So in 2018, he came to San Francisco 49ers, and in 2019, he made the Pro Bowl and was voted to the second team All-Pro, so he was playing great. The only problem in 2020, he dealt with lots of injuries. He only played in 5 games in the 2020 season, but he still played pretty good, allowed a 69.6 passer rating, which is pretty similar to Jaire Alexander. And so to be able to bring in a veteran and experienced guy like Richard Sherman, I feel like that could just be very beneficial to this Green Bay Packers team. Definitely couldn't hurt to have a guy like Richard Sherman there at the cornerback position. And recently there was a quote that came out from him. So here's the quote. He said, "I only want to play 2 more seasons," Sherman said. "I want to get on a competitive team. I think I still have a lot to give the game. I think I still have a lot that I want to accomplish. And I think I can go out there and help a defense come together like it should and reach their potential, reach the heights that the defenses that I've played on have reached." So it seems that he would want to go to a competitive team, obviously with him reaching his older age. He probably wants to potentially go find another Super Bowl team he could come into and, you know, help that defense reach their potential. And I think the Packers could use a guy like Richard Sherman. He could definitely come in and help the Packers reach their potential, potentially get to a Super Bowl. And, why would you not want to come into a team with Aaron Rodgers, a team that has showed that they are, one of the best in the league? We haven't gotten over that NFC Championship hump recently, but Richard Sherman could be a guy. Maybe he could get us over that hump, and maybe he could see Green Bay as a fit. The question is, how much money would he need to get paid? And so Spotrac.com predict that he'll make about $7 million a year. PFF predicted he'll make about $14 million a year. So who knows? Maybe somewhere between the $7 to $14 million range is what he would cost for the Packers. The question is, would they pay that much? Who knows? But maybe with Richard Sherman wanting to come to a competitive team, maybe he'd be willing to take a pay cut because maybe he just wants to come in and win a Super Bowl. So I think Richard Sherman could be a great option for the Packers if we have a way to pay him. Who knows if we will. Number 3 guy, another guy from that 49ers team. They have a lot of cornerback free agents upcoming this season, so who knows who will sign. Some of these guys they could sign. But this guy is a 49ers cornerback, Jason Verrett. So he started with the Chargers back in 2014. He actually made it to the Pro Bowl in his second season, and then he dealt with a ton of injuries. He dealt with a knee injury, an Achilles injury. So he only played 63 snaps in 2017, 0 snaps in 2018, and he had an ankle injury in 2019, only played 4 snaps. So he dealt with like 3 years basically where he didn't really play. But then in 2020, he comes in, he balls out. He has a great year with the 49ers. PFF graded him as the 8th best cornerback in the NFL in 2020. And so he showed that he still has what it takes. I guess there's some worries with his injury history. Will he be able to hold up as he did in 2020? Who really knows? It's hard to predict injuries. And so PFF predicts he'll make about $5 million per year. Probably just because, with his injury history, teams might be a little bit cautious to sign him. They're like, are you going to get injured? We don't want you to get injured. But teams who definitely will want to take a chance on him. Maybe the Packers see him as a guy they could take a chance on. Maybe pay a little bit less just because he does have that injury risk. But definitely it could be a guy that could pay off coming into Green Bay. Then the 4th guy, we have Seahawks cornerback Shaquille Griffin. So 2019, he had a great season. He was rated as 10th best cornerback by PFF. And then in 2020, he sort of declined a little bit. He was sort of up here, and he sort of came down here a little bit. So he was graded as the 49th best cornerback in the 2020 season. So taking a look at his 2020 season, he started off pretty poorly. He dealt with a few injuries, missed a few games in the middle of the season. But then according to The Athletic, he finished the season from week 12 to 17, allowing only 4.5 yards per target. He had 5 pass breakups and 1 interception. And so he definitely sort of came back to his 2019 form later in the season. So I still think that he could be a great addition for this Packers team. And even if he did play as sort of he did in 2020 as the 49th rated cornerback, that's still much better than Kevin King. I mean, if you just solely look at the PFF rank, with Kevin King being 99th, there are a lot of guys who could bring in here who could make a big difference, especially, a guy like Richard Sherman, Jason Verrett, Shaquille Griffin. So maybe he could be the guy the Packers want to bring in, if they even want to bring in a cornerback in free agency. So PFF estimates he'll make about $9.5 million per year because he's still a pretty young guy. He'll cost a good chunk of change for this Packers team. And then the last guy I want to cover in today's video is Washington's cornerback Ronald Darby. So he was with Washington in 2020, and he was ranked as the 28th best cornerback according to PFF, so pretty good season from him. The only problem with him as well, sort of similar to Jason Verrett, he's dealt with lots of injuries in the past, and 2020 was like the first year in a while that he's played over 600 snaps. I think it was the first time since 2016. So he definitely has some injury worries as well, and that's the thing about lots of these free agents. There's so many different factors to take a look at. Yes, they may have had a good 2020, but if you look at their past, they may have dealt with some injuries, and so at times, teams are going to have to take some chances on these guys, and you just sort of hope that they sort of perform as the way that they did in 2020. Then you have other guys, sort of as I talked about with Xavier Rhodes, like he had terrible seasons in 2018 and 2019. He comes in 2020 and basically becomes a top 10 cornerback again. So who knows, maybe the Packers can find another guy that I don't have on this list because there's lots of cornerback free agents. They could find some guys who they think maybe they weren't on a good scheme or in a good fit for them as certain players, and maybe the Packers could find a guy like Xavier Rhodes who has played poorly in the past, but maybe bringing him into Green Bay could sort of fix that problem. Who really knows, but there's definitely so many different options in free agency. And then to finish off with Darby, they sort of estimate he'll make about $10 million a year. So a good amount there as well. But I would honestly be curious to sort of hear what your guys' thoughts are on the cornerback position. If you think we should come in the draft a cornerback. If you think we should pick up a free agent cornerback. Just because, with the Packers being so close to the Super Bowl, I just feel like bringing in an experienced guy, a guy like Richard Sherman, who maybe he is near the end of his career, but you could get a couple good years out of him. Pair that alongside Aaron Rodgers playing as good as he has. It could get the Packers over that NFC Championship hump. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys smash that like button. Really honestly helps push the video out to more people. Helps reach more Packers fans. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love if you would do that. And if you yet to subscribe and you want to see more Packers content, make sure you guys do that as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Thanks to all you guys who have been supporting the channel recently, and I really appreciate you guys. So I will see you guys on the next video.